Yo, yo, yo. Mic
Yo,
check, mic check, mic check.
mic check, mic check. 1, 2. The ace and the deuce.
Hey, real quick, bro, just before we go, make sure you change your Facebook thing to public.
Hey, you want to know what? This thing, I was trying to look. It's saying I'm live, but I don't even see the
Yeah,
thing.
okay, because look, when I had started it and realized that the show name was the old show name. So I stopped it,
Oh,
changed the name real quick, and then restarted it. So hopefully that didn't do nothing. On
yours.
my end, I'm
I just see
still,
yours. Yeah, yours is up
but your end, I see yours is up too.
on my page.
Yeah.
I can't even. I don't even have access to it to even. What
Yeah,
is?
it's showing that you live right now.
Yeah, no, I see it. It's live. I just don't see it. I gotta click in it. Hold on. Let me see. Let me try to click it real quick. Just so I can edit. When I get past that, then we Gucci type shit.
Right, right. You like that's the only thing I'm doing on my phone.
Oh, she said I'm on. Okay. So luckily they can see, but I want to have it open to the public, and not just my friends publicly.
Right, right. Let me make sure. Peace to the chat. Anybody else jumping on?
I would try to restart my phone, but yeah, right. Oh, there you go. Now I see it. Okay. Damn though.
You know.
While I'm doing this, welcome to another episode of the Free Your Mind podcast, where you come free your mind and help others free theirs. I'm your co-host, and I go by the name of Woon, and I'm all about balance, like the bride and the groom. What's popping?
Yes, sir. Peace to the gods. I go by the name of Selfmade, man. You gotta tap into self to know thyself always. Uh let me bring the guests in here. There we go. We
Hey,
got We got the one and only for the first time on the show, Mr. I Am Droop. What's going on, man?
yes,
Where you
sir,
been
the
at?
man
Where
with
you
the
been at?
plan. Man, I've been basking in my glow, man. Finding thyself,
Facts, facts,
looking for ways to grow internally and externally at all times.
facts.
Ooh, he come on dropping bars like that, Drew. That's how you
Already,
get, Drew.
huh? Huh?
He's coming
He said,
on with the one,
Mhm.
two.
hey.
Oh man, y'all got your introduction and everything. Can I get mine, man? Can I get mine? I know I'm not a host or nothing like that, but I feel like I'm a very important guest. It's your man with the plan, keeping
Yeah.
it real in the field. You know what I mean? Always ready to build. I am Juice World. How y'all doing out there?
See,
I like
that's see.
that.
And for the people that don't know, uh, we build all the time, like you know what I mean, off screen. So me and Droop just, and self-made and Droop is a part of the circle, but y'all gonna get to see his essence today, right? So it's lit.
Yes,
Um,
sir. Yes,
but
sir.
I also have to give a super duper 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 warm welcome to Miss Francesca that's down here. And for the people that do not know, this is the publisher of all of my books, right? So she actually came to the building to come build with us today.
Yes. I wish I had
Welcome,
Thank
need
you.
welcome.
some custom sounds, man. I need some
Thank you.
round of applause
Yes.
and
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
need the
yeah.
fanfare.
I'm like, I have nothing to say after the other introduction. I mean, with all that good stuff you had going on, I'm like, I can't. I say nothing. That's it.
we appreciate you for coming on for
That
sure.
was so awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just so people know as well, me and Francesca have had a lot of builds. I don't know how if I don't know if you remember, but how we started getting outside of the publishing, just talking about business to getting into the conversations that we have. Right? Do you remember?
Yeah. It. It's kind of like when they say, you know, people are drawn, you know, certain energies draw certain
For
people.
sure.
It's got to be something like that, because we were just talking business and then it just rolled right into that, like really casually.
I honestly don't remember, and I'll be trying to remember, like, how did we even come to this?
I know.
Just like we were just talking behind the scenes, it's just like, out of all the publishers that I could have went through, obviously, you know, we connected for whatever reason, and then that's over into
Yeah.
you coming here, and it's a beautiful thing. And also, I want to put this out too, and then I'm gonna pass the mic. So you know, I clipped up some of our conversations and I put them onto my social media platforms. So if anybody has listened to me,
Wow.
yeah, if anybody has listened to any of the things that I put out, because as a matter of fact, you was the first one that I started doing that with, to be honest. And then, so if people see me or hear me in those clips talking to a woman, this is who that is. So you guys get this. This is my first time seeing her in person, as well as, I mean, you know, face to face, as well as you guys. And so it's a beautiful experience right now.
Right. That's tight. That's tight.
Well, that's interesting.
But we don't get to see her in
Wow.
person, man. The screen is black.
Is my screen black?
Yes,
Is it
it
showing
is.
black on your
Oh no,
screen?
I can see it.
Oh, you see? Okay, I don't see her at
Yeah, I can
all.
see her. She good.
Okay, all right. You know, maybe it was
I hope you guys don't mind. I have a crying cat in the background.
You're all good.
She's fine. She's just always hungry.
maybe it's when your body's vibrating, right, like yours do, and your energy is just so full. You just full of life.
Yeah, maybe.
You was able to like feel a certain vibration from her, right? And picked up that she didn't come into this into your life with arterial motives. You know, it was just all natural.
Right.
And when you pick up on something like that, it's only right that we connect, you know,
For
on
sure.
a bigger grand scale.
I'm gonna keep it a stack. First, I thought she was just trying to sell me just so I could publish another book. I'm like, all right, are you leaving?
Yeah.
Is this a business move, Francesca? What are we doing, Francesca? And then the more that we start conversating, I'm like, hold on, wait, she know a little something, okay? And then we can start going. I'm talking about for hours. I'm like, oh shit. But to speak of that,
I wouldn't say I know it. I just say I'm learning it. I mean,
appreciate that.
it's all just kind of coming, you know, at me at all angles lately. It's like opening up a whole new world. I feel reborn somehow from all of this.
Oh, that's
You
great, man. That's
it's
beautiful.
funny you say that because I was just now watching the movie Aladdin, and that whole new world, and that whole movie is about what we're about to get into today.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's a whole new world. It's a better world. It's a way better world.
For sure. So going to you, Drew, real quick, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm just having a conversation for the people because, you know, just to give them an introduction to
I mean, it's all good.
to first who you are and you know how we how you came into this into this fold, right? I remember I was on the road. I forgot what city and state that I was in, and I don't know what we was talking about. Same with Francesca. I do not know how we got to where we got to, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think that I was asking, I'm like, hey, where do you stand, you know, with some type of, I think spiritual, I think we went spiritual or whatever, or even religious beliefs or whatever. And then you told me, man, like straight up, I mess with energy and consciousness. Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, ooh. So I'm gonna let you just take it from there and, you know, just so you can elaborate from your perspective.
Oh yeah, no, I think it was we was just I was driving as well. I was riding we got to just talking normally like we usually do, and I picked something. I might have said something that picked your brain, and as I said something that got into your brain, man, you know, that inquiring mind, instead of mind coming where you was just asking all these questions, and at first, like I had no idea because I had no idea of this platform at all, no idea of the building blocks, no idea of the situation that was going and up and coming, and you know, I was saying things that was in your brain, like, hey, you know, where do you fit in with religion? And I said, man, I can't. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to offend nobody or nothing like that. I just can't get in with all the fairy tales and stuff, and some of the beliefs and some of the things that I'll be reading. You know what I mean? I said, hey, we have to come from somewhere. You know, I do believe in a higher being, but I just can't fathom every story that I personally have read. You know,
For sure.
to everybody's, you know, to nothing against those who, you know, have their strong beliefs and stuff like that. You know, because ultimately, you know, I believe in everybody. You know, I mean, you know, and if you like it, I love it. You know what I mean? So, you know, but I just got to, you know, dealing with what makes sense. And as we start to talking what made sense for us, it came aligned that, you know what I mean, that we was kind of on the same hype. And, you know, I had a few conversations with you, and we had a personal conversation with Selfmade, the God, and we've been rocking ever since. You know, some tough. And since then,
Wow.
uh, uh, I've been looking at things from a ionistic perspective, a ionistic state of mind, and I've always had a uh, deep way of analyzing things and putting shit together. And
That's a
you know,
fact.
from having these conversations, it didn't do anything but sharpen my skills more and hone my skills and be able to. A lot of people, you know, from my background, and I grew up, I was kind of surprised. You know, somebody that just full of wool. Oh, I didn't know Drew did this. I didn't know Drew did that. So every time that I did something differently, you know, even with my level of intelligence, you know what I mean. A lot of people didn't really understand the type of individual that I was, how intelligent I was, how brilliant I was, how much game I got, how much experience I got, how the traumas and the things that I've been through that made me this wonderful person that I am today. And I'm like, man, you know what, man? I got so much wisdom and knowledge that I feel like it's time to start helping others and expressing that onto them and helping others grow in ways that could have helped me if I would have known some of the things that I know before. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with it.
For sure.
Wow.
And you said something important. When we were coming up, because you know, we come up from from a whole different world, right? And
Hmm.
the
Definitely.
background that we come up from, coming from that street life, low poverty situations. Sometimes we do not get the opportunity to uh, build on this type of time, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be just within the household or just being in the streets or whatever. So sometimes things like this may be already residing within us, and I'm saying maybe lightly because I know it is, but sometimes
Yeah.
we don't have the platform in order to express or talk to each other in this fashion, right? So the
Yes,
same thing,
sir.
and that's why we created this platform to have people from all walks of life come together on this type of playing field and be able to express themselves on that type of time. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that you are a part of that, and I'm glad that you came into it and saying, "Oh, well, yeah, I ain't got time for that." Like, you know what I mean? Such and such and such. Like, I don't know what that's about, so I'm not even going to give it a shot. Because sometimes people do look at it like that. Like, well, what is it about? Like, you know what I mean? But really, it's what it is. Free your mind. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't think that that can ever be looked as being a bad thing, right? I don't think that that holds any negative connotation whatsoever, right?
Right.
Unless you're a
No.
negative person, be like, why your mind free? How come you don't charge for it? Or some crazy like
I mean, I mean, I mean, who? I don't even like limits on my credit cards, let alone who would want limits on their mind frame. Like, man, you want to be
Right.
able to expand. Your mind is here to expand, you
Exactly.
know, and you want to expand your mind to the greatest infinite value that you possibly can. You know what I mean? So,
for sure.
I think that as humans, we're built with a lazy state of mind frame, right, and comfortability, and we get comfortable being in a state that we in. But you know, when you surround yourself with great individuals and people that's pushing for more, you kind of get in that, like they say, birds of the same feather flock together. You kind of get in that
Exactly.
mode, man, and you just start looking at life and wanting to do more, wanting to be bigger, wanting to, you know what I mean, have nicer things, you know, even though material things ain't all that, but I'm just, you know what I mean, you want to be the best, get the best that you win as much as you possibly can while this experience here on earth.
For sure.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
real quick, I want to shout out to the people that I can see on the Facebook. Peace to Peace Marie. Peace to the homeboy Eric Walker. Tiffany Martin, I see
Hey,
you as well for sure. Let me turn.
Peace,
I don't even
peace.
got my comments on my thing right now. But for sure. So I wanted to swing it over to you, Francesca, to see a little bit about your background and how you came into this level of understanding. I know you said that you're still learning, and we all are, right? But I just want to know kind of like about your perspective and what your journey is.
Okay. You know, I first have to say something.
For sure.
This morning I woke up because I've been going through this humbling experience that was kind of weird. But I woke up and I thought, I was always so selfish when I was young.
Mm.
I didn't know that I was being selfish. I never had a cold heart. But if there was something that I was thinking about that I wanted to do, it didn't matter what somebody else, how they felt about it. I was off doing what I wanted to
For
do.
sure.
And I heard a lot of people along the way. And I woke up this morning and I thought, I could never talk about this. And then you send me this text. Hey, you want to be on the show?
Alignment.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
alignment is
the
crazy.
universe has a real sense of humor. Yeah, you can talk about it, girl. You need to talk about it. Okay. Yeah, I've come on a big circle from being born and raised in religion.
Mhm.
Heavy, I'm not talking church girl on Sunday. I'm talking, I went to Catholic school and, you know, I was raised by nuns for a while. I mean, it was really, really just inundated with religion. So my whole life was about rules and laws and, oh, there's this God up there that's gonna, you know, just send me to hell for eternity if I do this thing over here. And then I'd be like, oh, well, after a while, I didn't care. Just send me to hell. I want to go have some fun. You know, so I went through all of that stuff and I was really heavy into religion. And I really believed. Then I left the Catholic Church. I got married. I married an associate pastor. We were married for 13 years. And we were involved with the church. I went to Bible college. I did all these things, you know, to be this little Miss Christian, you know, the good little wife and mom. But my world fell apart. There was no foundation of any of that. When my whole world came crashing down, it was empty. It was hollow. It was a house of cards. Ooh. You understand?
Right.
And so I really had to go through something. I mean, I had to hit rock bottom, rug pulled out from underneath me, living in my car, trying to figure out my life. Just everything was just upside down, crazy. I knew something was really wrong, couldn't figure out what it was, right. But decided that whatever all that stuff was that I was being taught and how, you know, God's always going to take care of you. You're born again. You're saved. Everything's going to be fine for you. No. It wasn't. Nothing was fine. Okay, so I had to go through this dark night of the soul, if you will. I guess what I'm hearing people call my experience, and it just pulled me through a really dark time. But then I began to see little pieces of light. Mm. And then I started to get these little downloads of, oh, wait. And then another one. And then I began searching for real truth out there, because I figured it's got to exist.
Yep.
There has to be truth. It has to exist. We're not just here for nothing. There's a reason. And when I started learning about how we're all connected energetically and how basically we're all one, and then finding out that the whole planet is conscious, like rocks are conscious, everything has consciousness.
Right.
Then all of a sudden I began to connect all these dots, and I'm like, this is it. This is what everybody's missing. This is why there's wars and hatred and all these things going on, is because nobody's connecting the fact that we are all one.
Right.
We are all connected in our consciousness. And that's when my mind went, okay, bring it on, I'm ready. And that's what it's been leading me ever since then. I just keep going, learning more. And the universe keeps connecting me with people like you, and now these people here that you're connecting me with, and I'm learning more, and it's good. I love it. Just bring it on.
Oh yeah, we real deep too. We deep in the world.
Definitely. If you don't mind, can I ask a?
Go
If
ahead,
you don't mind, can I ask a question to what you said? First off, shout out to Mad Max. Thanks for tuning in. Just got your shout out. But Francesca, I was listening intensely to what you were saying and how you found your light. Would you say that you kind of gave up your old ways based on a trauma, or just feeling like you were let down? Kind of like a rebellious. I tried this way, and when I was deep into it, it kind of let me down. So I don't really see no truth in it, because I heard you mention truth in it. I don't see no truth in it, and I want to veer this way. What exactly pinpointed
There was
you
no
to?
truth. There was no truth in the religion. There was truth in the undertones of it, but not the way they teach it to you.
I like that.
I got you. I got you.
Not saying that the word doesn't have truth in it. It does. The words in all the ancient texts, they all have truth in it, but none of it was being taught to me in the right light.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
And I wanted to.
But to answer your question, though, I don't know if I would be where I am right now if it wasn't for my life crumbling.
Flipping upside down. Yeah.
That
It took that tower moment, just everything had to come crashing down for me to really look. I had to look at myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look around me. I had to listen more and talk less, which is a real challenge for me. And
Right.
Hey, that's a lot of challenge for a lot of people, and that's something hard to teach as well.
For sure.
It's hard. There's challenges all the time. Meditation has changed my life.
For sure.
Changed.
So I wanted to go back in your story as well, just a little bit, because you did mention you went to Bible school, right? So how was that? Like, what now? Because when you go to the Bible school, and I don't want to kind of coax you into the answer, but how do they teach the Bible? What are they? What's the curriculum look like?
Right.
Well, it depends on what school. I went to Rhema. So at Rhema, it's faith school.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly based on New Testament, cherry picking a few pieces from the Old Testament.
For sure.
Completely not going into any eschatology at all. They don't really go into that much. But it's mostly all about faith. And they're right about a lot of things. They really are. But they're attaching it wrong. And it's like, I keep thinking of this verse where Jesus said, you'll cross land and sea to convert one person. You make them twice the son of hell. They're doing. They convert you in, and they twist your mind as to where you're supposed to be looking at this passage. And now you're lost.
Right,
You don't know it. You think, oh, okay, that's what that means. Check your brain at the door, right? So
And
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking that question, right? Because you just now said also that that you still find the truth in the word, but sometimes the people or the teachers are teaching it in such a way that it's not being received, I guess, in the proper way, right?
Right. It's there. It's all there. We can all read the same words, but how you interpret it changes everything.
For
Absolutely
sure,
everything.
for
Here's
sure.
one thing interesting. Just I will just throw this out there. I just learned something. You might already know. I don't know, but I thought this was
No, we
very
good.
interesting. That the Lord's Prayer that Christians recite, "Our Father who art in heaven." Do you know this one?
Mhm.
That prayer is actually an ancient Egyptian prayer, I believe, from Amun Ra.
Mm.
It's been around for 5,000-6,000 years. Jesus just, when the disciples asked him, "How do you pray?" he
Pray like
taught them from. Now, doesn't that change everything? Just knowing that.
Jesus is
That's
like,
a,
hold on, wait,
they say, I've heard that, and I've also heard that every time that somebody prays, they're actually paying homage to Amin Ra, because at the end of each prayer, they say Amen or Amen.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
But also interesting about that is that, did you notice in Revelation, I think 13, 13, 14, or 14:3, don't quote me on that, right in there, Jesus says he is the Amen, which was translated from Amen Ra to Amen. So what is Jesus telling us? That he's the Amen Ra in the book of Revelation? I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, I got to
But
brush up on my Bible.
that's some deep stuff right there. It's like you start peeling back all these onion layers, you start looking at stuff, and you learn more and more, and then it's like, wow, there's so much more to this than what we've ever been taught.
that's like the zodiac wheel with the 12, and
Yes,
the
yes,
12
it's all there.
disciples, the
Yeah,
12 cranial nerves inside the mind, and the 13 being the pineal gland, and all the nerves is wrapped around that. It's like the
spot on.
same things, they is straight correlation within the Bible, like the flood story, and
Yes.
then the Egyptians had the flood story with the new Ankh, and they called it the Noah's Ark. So it's like you got all these similarities with
Yeah.
these ancient texts all across the board, not even just between the Bible and Egypt. You know what I mean? You got similarities between the Bible and the Hinduism
Yeah, I
books,
was gonna
and
say India, Hindu. Well, like
yeah,
the story of
all of
Krishna.
that.
The story of Krishna is almost identical to the story of Jesus, right? Born of a
Yep.
virgin on December 25th, and I mean
Yeah.
the whole story. And then Jesus turns around, and half the things he says, he's quoting Krishna. So
Francesca, I don't mean to seem like I'm picking on you, but they say and I'm not, but they say the more clarification, the less room you have for assumption, right? And
yeah.
I remember you saying that you found no truth in what they were teaching you specifically. Is there any way that you could be like, do you have any memories or like exactly what it was that you was getting taught that made you kind of step back and say, I
Like
don't know if
from
I
the
could.
way I understand it now, that I feel is more correct in my heart compared to the way I was taught. Do you mean it like that?
Yeah, I mean, what kind of turned you off? You said, man, it was teachings and uh, uh, stuff that you was getting that made you seem like, hey, this doesn't hold no volume. This doesn't hold no truth to me. What were some of the things that led you to having that thought process?
Are you speaking specifically about like scriptures that I held dear to my heart and was counting on to come through for me? My belief in my faith and belief in God and Jesus, and is that what you mean? And then that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
followed.
whatever it was that turned you off and
The
had you go a
people.
different route.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
What?
sorry.
Yeah. What was it about the people?
The
Did they
people
have
that
any?
were the people that were judging me in my hardest time, the people that were
Okay.
throwing scriptures at me when my daughter was kidnapped, instead of, come on, what, this Bible scripture is not returning my daughter to my home. You know what I'm saying? It was like there was no peace. I had no peace. There was nothing. It was like having 10 swords stuck in my back, and there was no peace for that. And I really felt like, if there's a God out there that's sitting up there in a cloud watching this whole thing and letting it happen, it's not my God.
And see,
I can relate to that.
that's a great response, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I talk to a lot of different people, and sometimes people would say that the reason that people walk away from religion, walk away from certain things, is because they wanted what they wanted when they wanted it, and God didn't give it to them when they wanted it, right? So now it's just like it's a anti thing, right?
Hmm.
So and I get that from that perspective, but at the same time it's like, okay, so if we're going to say that, then I guess we're only looking for this thing to take place in the afterlife. Right now don't matter, just the
But then,
afterlife.
right, exactly. So good. But then the Bible says, I am a God, I am a God of the living, not of the dead. So how does that figure? Like we're living for the afterlife.
Right. So another thing that I want to ask you, because I know that there's a lot of people, and I'm not even saying, just to leave religious belief whatsoever, but a lot of people naturally, as we grow up, right? Because we're taught what we're taught as adolescents, teenagers, even young adults. But when we're starting to come into becoming our own person,
Yeah.
right? We start to question, we start to challenge, we start to, all these different things. And
Yeah.
typically for me, the question starts the quest, right? It begins the quest of self, right? So on that type of time, typically when we start that quest, we have to disregard everything that we was taught, right?
Hmm.
Because now if it's not resonating with us, it's just like, okay, maybe that was your thing for you, right? So now that this is my mission and that does not resonate with me as a Christian, if I switch over to just say Buddhism or something like that, a lot of people who were birthed in Christianity or has been passed
Yeah.
down and passed down and passed down,
Yep.
everybody's looking at you like, you know what I mean? Like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? So
Well, and
did
they'll
you,
tell you that you need to come back home.
for sure. So did you go through that when you were making your transition? Was that a tough transition for you as
Oh
far
my
as the
God.
people that was around you, or how did that what
Uh,
did that look
it,
like for you?
it was a crash and burn. It was the ugliest thing you've ever seen. I was ugly about it. Those around me were ugly. The whole thing was ugly. I became very angry. It was really a problem. I'm still somewhat deconstructing, only now I'm smiling and laughing about it instead of crying about it. Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah.
Get you. Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's
it's hard. It's really, really hard. And it's hard to be rejected by the people that you thought were your friends, but they're not really your friends when you get suddenly a different belief. And when you see things differently and they cut you off, what kind of friend does that?
right. It's just like you good enough. I see you. It's just like if you're working for a company, right? And they got you in the back and you making fries, right? And then all of a sudden you pull up and you be like, nah, I just now applied to be the boss. They go like, the boss? Who do you think you are? Like, get out of here. You're fired. Like, you know what I mean? So there's there's even a scripture,
I
you
would
know,
promote you.
right. there's a scripture in the Bible that ultimately talks about that, just that. It's in Luke, I think Luke 21, 5 through 19, and it's called the destruction of the temple and the sign of end times, right? And we're talking about the destruction of the temple, the body and the mind, right? And then it says the sign of end times, just to let us know that, okay, we're making this transition, right? And then it gives a list of all these different things that's going to happen. And within that scripture, it's saying that, you know, family will disown you. Some friends will put you to death. You're going to be judged. All of these different things. And they're letting you know. But as long as you're tapped in on the level that you're tapped in, it says that I think 19 says like
So
no hair on your head will be touched or something like that. So
that's right.
Yeah,
spot on. That's exactly right. You're so right. Yep,
right.
It's perfect scripture.
And it's a tough transition. All transitions are tough. People understand that right before something good is going to happen, we have to prep. So that preparation is all of the bad things that's going to happen. That's going to act as a catalyst to push us to that next level, right? And if we back down, then that means that we're going to stay at that level. We're not going to ascend. So we have, just like you said, so we have to face that. It's ugly, it's chaotic, it's all of these different things, right? But then we go into the level of order, into calmness, into peace, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, that fight is a fight, and sometimes people run away. Sometimes people, you know, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because they may not be ready, right? So sometimes,
That's
you know,
right. That's very, very true. Yeah.
right.
That's like one of the biggest things is, you know, being ready for the jewel that was dropped upon you.
For
You know
sure.
what I mean? Yeah, and I've been noticing with a lot of people when it comes to religion, right? It has took, not for everybody, you know, some is formal and informal, but for like the people who just like wasn't formally introduced to this, it took something traumatic or something devastating for them to leave. Like in your case, Francesca, where you said you felt let down because of a severe situation you was going through and not feeling that you know, you were being represented in a right way. And I'm sorry to hear, you know, what happened with that, or it works
The
the
vultures
opposite
came.
way.
The vultures showed up, just like Jesus said the vultures would show up. They did.
It, it, it
Hey,
works the opposite way to where there's a lot of individuals who actually gravitate toward religion after traumatizations too as well.
That's a
You know
fact.
what I mean? So
Yes.
mind space plays a big a thing in, you know, where you're at and religion and some things in time. And that's why like I just like to know, man, because you know I'm kind of analyzing
It's
characters
real.
and
That's so interesting. You're right. And I mean, I've seen miracles in the church. It exists. It does exist. I've seen it. I've seen drug addicts and alcoholics turn their life around like that when they give their life over. But I don't. I no longer believe that experience that we all have in there when that happens. It's good. This is a spiritual experience, but I don't think you have to. I think that could have happened had they had found metaphysical teaching too. Had they found you, or you see what I'm saying? They still could have turned their life around, but they were at that right moment where they needed to receive something bigger than themselves.
For sure.
Let me ask everyone a question. Real quick.
Sure.
Real quick, let
what's
me
going on there.
Jeff,
What's up? What's
we
up?
got a young man in the building. What's popping?
What's up?
What's popping? Yeah, yo.
Peace to the guys. Peace to the guys. What's up with your cousin? What's up? What's up? Unc? Nice to meet you, Francesca.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Neff, this is the publisher for my books.
Okay, yeah, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, great work too. I love your work. It's
Thank
dope.
you.
For real. But I had a quick question for everyone, real quick. Just a real quick conversation starter. So, do you guys feel like you guys were all spiritually exhausted before you guys made your transition?
Woo. I'm gonna gonna pass that around if somebody want to buzz first. But if y'all want me to start off, I can.
Oh, you go ahead.
Um, when you say spiritually exhausted, um, I don't know if I would use that word. But then at the same time, like the fact of the matter, like if I have questions, then I feel like, yeah, my spirit, there's some sort of rumbling in my spirit to get me to question things that I wouldn't naturally or normally question, you
Right,
know?
right.
And so, yeah, I guess at that time, then yeah, you could say spiritually exhausted. You could probably use a lot of different, words, but you definitely are feeling some type of way, and that's what propels you to start questioning the things around you and the things in your reality, because you're feeling like something's off. You know what I
Right.
mean? Um, that would be like the best way I'd explain it.
For sure. And I'm gonna piggyback off that. Because I remember just going through my journey and I had a lot of rabbit holes. Like,
So a
Yeah.
lot of rabbit holes.
a lot of them. Like, you know what I mean? But I was always inquisitive just as a kid. Like, you know what I mean? So coming up, it's just always, well, what is this? What is that? How does that work? And just always trying to find out the root of things, right? And so um I think going through all the rabbit holes, and I know Francesca had mentioned it earlier you know, uh, with the Egyptology and things of that nature. That was kind of like one that was pivotal for me because I was also and this is scary for people. I was also studying the Illuminati. Yes, I was, whatever. But when I was looking at the symbolism that was associated with the Illuminati, I'm big on symbolism, and I started to notice that it was prevalent in Egypt, and I'm like, hold on, wait. So who's saying what, and why are we being left out of this conversation, right?
Oh, good one. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
had to study symbology, right? So then, so then after that point in time, I'm just like, all right, so maybe the things that they're saying that we need to stay away from is the thing I'm gonna run towards, right?
Mhm.
So
Like maybe they know something that we should know.
exactly, right? So
Yeah.
then my last fight was religion. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, what the hell is this? Because at this no cap, at this point, I'm still believing in God, right? In a almighty heavenly whatever God and shit, right? And then so when my final question was to my grandma, and I was just like, hey, would you what? And at this point in time, that's when I'm starting to get exhausted because I'm running, I'm going through all these different rabbit holes.
Mm.
I get to her and I'm like gasping for air. Grandma, give me the answer. Like, what is this shit? Right?
Wow.
And then she gave me the same. I asked her the same question that I asked when I was a kid, and the answer she gave me because I needed the life. I'm in the desert and I just need a suck of the water, and she was just like dust. And I said, and not to take away from my grandma, I love her. Like, you know what I mean? R.I.P. to Mama Garrett, but she can only give me things from her perspective, and I was on a wound journey, like, you know what I mean. So now it's just like, thank you for allowing me to continue my journey. She could have gave me anything, and she tried, but now it's just like, okay, I was exhausted. To answer your question, Nev, I was exhausted in that the not knowing and the all right, what is this shit? And I was already making a transition, so I only needed that extra push. And regardless of how she pushed it, she still pushed me. Like, that's all I needed. So I was exhausted. She gave me that little. I was like, done deal. Thank you. Like, it's a wrap. It's up.
That's awesome.
I gotta
Wow.
pop my collar a little bit and talk my shit because you feel me. I don't know exhaustion, man. I'm like a lithium battery. I keep going and going and going and going. And I would say that it wasn't a transition for me personally. You feel me? It was an ascension. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I didn't make a transit. I didn't hop aboard nothing, right? I just wanted to ascend myself and my mind. I wanted to grow within. You feel me? Um,
Yeah. Yes.
and still how I see it, man. I just look at things from a deeper level, you know, and a more open mindedness. And truthfully, there was just like a lot of questions on top of that. There was just a lot of questions that was unanswered. And I'm a type of person like, man, you can't just sell me a dream. You got to make it make sense to me. And if it don't make sense, I'm gonna start having these questions. And when I ask you certain things that I'm expecting to get a legitimate answer for, and it just says go to the book or look at the book because the book says, you know, because this says, and it's just like, hey man, that ain't gonna fathom with me. Like that didn't feed these questions that I had, man. I'm not doing these questions and getting told something just to, you know, soothe my curiosity. You know what I mean? I don't want my curiosity soothed. I want my curiosity answered. And when I can get the right answers, that you know, shit, I start coming to my own assumptions and just, hey, I can't get jiggy with this shit. You know what I mean? From that from that form of life frame.
Yeah.
You're
Did I
right.
answer your
Yes,
question well enough,
relate to
cousin?
all of
No, for
that.
sure, for sure.
Yeah,
Was
because
it me?
Yeah, it's on you.
yeah,
Yep.
so you
I mean, oh, with the question on was I spiritually exhausted?
for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. No. Religiously exhausted. I've never been spiritually exhausted.
Okay.
Religion is exhausting. Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I
But
feel like a lot of people. Oh, go ahead. My apologies.
oh, I was gonna say I feel like my spirituality is the fire that I have. Like that's what just keeps me burning the flame all the time. I love it. I don't think I could ever burn out on it.
I hear that.
But I did burn out on religion, you know. I mean, I just and I was in several different ones. I mean, I tried them all out, you know.
Oh, really?
A lot of the different Christian ones, you know, from Catholic to Baptist, you know, to the faith group, you know, the Pentecostals, and yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, you were in it then. Okay, you got your feet wet. You were in it.
I was a pew jumping, tongue talking, you know, yeah.
Okay.
If you don't mind, little cousin, could I say a little bit more to that, man?
Yeah, you good.
Is that all right with you? Okay. Also, right, each religion is only a certain population of this uh world or this earth. You know what I mean? And most religions will tell you that if you believe in another religion, like you're not gonna make it to
Hell.
your final destination. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So you mean to tell me that like these other 78% of this world or the other 52%, you're not gonna get exact with math, so don't quote me on that. But you know, just for shits and giggles, like this other percentage of this population, because they believe in this, you mean that they're going a whole direction? And everybody, man, if you really pay attention to what's going on with the world, man, this whole world is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Every
Sure.
everybody
Yeah.
on this world. So you know, who's to judge others for their upbringing, for their cultural teachings that they were going and to say that, you know, and to dictate uh, where they were to go. And that was another thing that was probably the main thing that was just hard
It's
to fathom. Like, man, if
tragic.
there was something more
Yeah.
solid, like we would all be born and be raised and instilled and you know be believing in the same thing, and the fact that like we got so many different minds and so many different perspectives, it's hard for me to just go off what the next person say what's right and what's wrong. I got to come to my own conclusion. I can't let nobody. I was born to be a leader, not a follower, and I can't allow nobody to come to a conclusion for me personally.
Yeah. Wow.
And you know, a lot of people hold on to religion too, is because you know they hold on to that heaven, to that heaven thing, you know, and that's where a lot of people tend to get spiritually, well, not spiritually exhausted, but, you know, religiously exhausted. I like the way that Francesca put that, religiously exhausted, because, you know, your mind can only think so much, but still you're gonna have that thought in the back of your mind, like, damn, I still want to get to heaven. I still, you know what I mean? I still want to see what that's about. I've been hearing about it all my life. I still want to see what it's talking about. You know?
Yeah, man, it sounds
That's where
sweet,
a
don't
lot
it?
of people.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because that a lot of people, that is that's what they hold on to. And it's funny because Pac put out a line, said that everybody kissing ass to go to heaven ain't going,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because it's just like, imagine that that's the only reason that you're doing what you're doing, just so you make sure you get that ticket. They be like, all right, bro, your shit ain't even genuine. Yo, I'm gonna you decline when you get to the gate, my nigga.
Right, right. Sorry, bud.
Oh my God, that's
Not
funny.
happening.
Got that counterfeit dub? Nah, boy.
Selfmade, it was an interesting comment made. It popped up on my screen. Were you able to see it?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw part of it. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Yep,
What
that's
it
right.
say?
You don't get judged when Krishna doesn't judge you. That's right. I'm wrong. They accept everybody and just want us to be a better person. There it
Yeah.
is, right there. And that is, believe it or not, the same teaching that Jesus taught
Right.
as Krishna 1,000 years earlier, right? He was bringing that forward, and then, you know, his message got hijacked, twisted all around, and now Christians are told that Krishna is not true.
Like you said, Drew, it's like any other, if it's not the religion that I studied, then you're wrong. With that
Yeah.
whole concept, it's like they either all wrong or they all right. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Right.
And at that point, if you just look at yours as the right one, you know, because like Francesca was saying, there's truth in it. You know, it's just the way that it's being spilled. You know, it was like I caught something with what you were saying too, Francesca, earlier, as far as like when you said it crumbled down, like when it came to the religion, it seems like when you actually started to do your own thing, that's when you can make sense out of the religion. You know what I'm saying? Because that just reminded me of, you know, me and Woon coming into our whole thing when it comes to the Bible. You know, it's like as we was coming into the awakening, I wasn't messing with the Bible. You know what I mean? Halfway at all. You know, and as soon as I did start seeing the differences in the Bible and other people talking about the contradictions in the Bible, and I'm starting to look at it from a whole different angle. Now that I've done came into this different state of mind, I'm looking at the whole text in a different way. You know what I'm saying?
And you're like, wow, it does actually
perspective.
all go
I like
together, but not the way they connected it together.
Exactly. And so now then you start to see like, oh, snaps, like there's where the truth is at. You know what I'm saying? Like they're skewing it and separating yourself from it to where it's like unrecognizable. You know what I mean? And so I just that was like a beautiful thing, as far as like, you know, you had to go through what you had to go through to get that understanding, and now you could turn around and, you know what I'm saying, you know, speak that understanding in the right essence, that right light. You know, that's the trip.
Hey, that's a fact. It's funny, real quick, on that type of time, because I remember and Kareem is in the building right now and shit too. So shout out, as a matter of fact, shout out to Kareem, shout out to Rainy.
Oh yeah, much love and respect, brother Kareem.
That's Rainy right there. To Taylor, that's Rainy. And shout out to Ranisha too, that's in the building. So I remember Kareem was one of the ones who actually said, well, how you gonna disregard the Bible if you ain't even never read it, right? And that sent me on a
question.
He put me on a mission, because now my thing was, going back to what you said earlier, Francesca, was just like I was given these answers from somebody else that did not resonate with me, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm just like, you want to know what, Kareem? You're absolutely correct. I love Kareem for saying that. And it's not only him, there was other people as well, but he said it for sure. And so when I started reading certain scriptures, I said, hey, this shit is saying what I'm saying.
No,
And
for
then
sure.
so
Yeah, right
and then
on.
so
This is just giving me validation of what I'm
yeah,
saying.
it's confirmation
Yeah.
at this point. So then I figured out, I'm like, oh, so it's not the fact that the Bible is not saying it. It just depends on the perspective and where you're at spiritually, right? And I'm like, oh shit. So let me take this Bible out of the trash can and place it back where it needs to be, right? And so what happened so what happened after that is I started to express my perspective of what the scriptures were saying. And some people were literally saying, like, well, how did you come up with that? Like, you can't just read it one time and just understand it. Well, I can make it make sense. Now I have to make sure that I'm sharp with speaking it as opposed to just understanding it, right?
And you
Yeah.
have a gift
This is
for that too, I might add. Yeah.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it. We talk a lot, so it's lit. But I'm an author. You know, I'm an author. Hey, for the people who's watching, let me reiterate that this is the publisher of my books, Miss Francesca. So you know, my
Thank
books,
you.
they on sale right now. But this, yeah, she's the for everybody who's always been asking me, well, who's the publisher? Who did you go through? Who, all these different things. This is that. And I just want to put that out there.
I love it.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Another round of
Those are
applause
good
for that.
books.
You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Dope work.
Yeah, I got 5. We lit. Hold on, let me close this back down. My bad.
That's major. That's proper right there.
Oh, hold on.
Hey, y'all can still hear me, right?
Can hear
Hey,
you.
look,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you good.
but you
Hey, hey,
know,
hey, one, it was something that I wanted to add into kind of before, and you kind of hit it on a mark as you got to speaking. But
Mhm.
as you start to ascend within yourself, you start to have a different mind space to where actually me finding me is it helps me be able to look and refer to the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And figure shit out on a different scale. You feel me? It's like I had to find myself and open myself up to be open to the information that's giving to me. You know what I mean? And that's like what I think the purpose of my journey is to build self up so I could take in everything else around me on a bigger scale. You feel me?
Mhm.
So I kind of figure like you were kind of lost, maybe possibility you was lost with where you were at, and as you start finding yourself, and then you referred back like Brother Kareem had expressed to you to do. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing shit differently, and you was able to break it down the way you were because of that. Would you agree to that, or
I would slightly agree, but I would slightly disagree. And I'm not
okay?
disagreeing, but I'm gonna just say this, right? Because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure everybody that's on this journey as a kid, we know that we're different. And when I say different, I don't mean, better. I'm just saying like we know there's something that has always been there, right? So
yeah,
the one of the important things is to be able to hear it, right? Like I need just like what we're doing right now. Sometimes we gotta break bread with like-minded people in order to understand what's going on within us, right?
Mhm.
So there wasn't that. I was getting fed something that somebody else read and something. So I'm like, all right, that no longer nourishes me. So when you say lost, that's where I disagree because I was never lost. I just wasn't fed properly, right?
yeah,
So then when it comes time to feed myself, hey, I don't want none of this McDonald's shit. I'm going straight for it. You know what I mean? So on that type of
Mhm.
time, but one of the things that helped me to understand, like before I even started reading the Bible scriptures for myself, when I was going with all of the rabbit holes, each rabbit hole was a level of information for me. right? So when I got into, just like I said, like I was heavily into the conversation that's secretly being had, right? So when I'm
Yeah.
looking at symbols and I'm looking at mathematics, I'm like, all right, sacred geometry, right? And I'm
Wow.
like, the symbols and the mathematics, those two things are what they call sacred geometry, right? So now my eye is peeking and shit. I'm like, all right, well, what the fuck is that? And as soon as I found out the language, right now, when I look at the Bible, now it's just like, oh, I already know the language because my journey has built me
Wow.
up this whole time to open up this book and see, oh, that's the symbology, right? And that's why I talk
Yeah.
about mathematics a
Yeah.
lot because it just makes sense. And then with the symbology, and then just like what you said, Francesca, looking at it from a metaphysical, esoteric point of view, right now it's just like, man. So to answer your question, Drew, lost in being misled? Yes, I
Nah,
was.
yeah, I understand that. And I was going to correct myself, right? I
Go ahead.
understand that words is critical, and maybe it wasn't, lost wasn't the right word, but when you was fed the information that didn't hit your taste buds correctly, you know what I mean, and you decided to go for what tasted good in your mouth. You get what I'm saying? Before you made that move, you know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
that you got, now that you're getting the right nutrients fed inside you, is it easier to go back to the bullshit that tasted bad at one time and it tastes a little better? That's kind of what I was,
Oh yeah, no, for
asking.
sure. And see,
Yeah,
and to dive just a little bit deeper, I still understand the people that don't read it on the esoteric situation, right? Because it's just like I see that they're trying to understand what's being stated, right? So now it's just like, damn, well, how do we bridge this gap, right? And now it's just like, okay, I know that I was on that side before and I had to put in the work. Sometimes doing that work hurts. Just like Francesca said, sometimes it's chaotic. Sometimes it's all these different things. And I'm pretty sure we've all experienced like, man, they think spiritual is just you just sitting in, somewhere,
Meditating and
meditating and
shit.
all this extra shit. It's like, nah, bro, there'd be some dark days. There'd be tough times. Like if you ain't built for this shit, like you know what I mean, you may literally lose your mind trying to free it, right? So on that type of time, it's just like, well, now that I'm I thought that the information was to go up this hill just to get the light. I thought that was the mission. But the mission is to go up the hill and also bring that shit back down so somebody else can go up the hill. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the true work. So, and that's a constant thing. It has to be a lifestyle.
Yep.
So, like, you know what I mean? So it gets
and that's very
exhausting.
gratifying work as well too. It does get exhausting, but at the end of the day, man, it's very gratifying to go up and find things for yourself and come back and pass it down to the next information. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question directly. I know I'll be long winded.
Nah, man. You know where we at with this, man. Yeah, I got exactly what I was asking for.
Let me
Can
ask
I
y'all.
ask a question? Would you mind if I interjected and asked y'all a question?
No, for sure.
Oh
You
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead and do your
I'm
thing.
I love the
I'm
etiquette on
curious.
this podcast today, man. The etiquette is something else.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to you guys and I'm thinking I would like to hear what is it in your opinion, each of your opinions, why is it that you would think that they took the religious context in the direction they did rather than letting us have it in its original form taught to us?
Ooh, I got an answer for that, but we could pass it around.
Why? Tell me why you think that is.
All right, I'm gonna start it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's simple. That's
Yeah, so it's just like how people say, some things are tests, right? So it's just like imagine you're trying to take your college exams, your exit exams to go to college, and the teacher gives you the answer, right? And you just like, yep, I got the answers. Everything is done. I went to the next level. I'm going to college. No, it's not that easy. Because now it's just like we can't tell who is who if everybody gets the answer, right? So now it's just like I said, you have to put in that work. So now we say, well, we'll know them by the fruits of their labor, right?
Uh-huh.
As far as the Bible scripture. So we know who's the who of who by having these certain type of conversations. Like, all right, I see you kind of still getting there, but this is why we're building. Like we're still building. But if we just gave it to people, they wouldn't know what to do with it. Imagine somebody giving you $1 million as a baby. What would you do with it?
Right, eat it, right?
Right.
So now it's just like, but now we have to understand, okay, this is a process. We have to go through all these different things. And then as we're doing the work, that's when we find out the answers. Just like I said, I went through so many different rabbit holes, so many different years. And it's just like, I had to have my aha moment like, oh, shit. Okay, so I love it like this. I would not have somebody just give it to me to answer the question from my perspective.
Yeah, that's good.
I would say kind of like what Goddess Divine, peace to the goddess, she said in the chat. She said world domination. I look at it like power control, a form of indoctrination. Because like the question, like pretty much going one way or another with it, like if it was told in the way of like absolute truth, damn near, quote unquote, then it's like the how people view the world would be totally different than it is right now. I think it's a means to be able to control the speed or rate of like the how the consciousness is flowing. You know what I mean? Like, because if they can have just as much as the government, the govern the mental, you know what I'm saying? Like they have the power and the control to make certain things happen when they want to happen, which by default, us being in that environment is controlling how we perceive our reality. If they controlling that, then they're controlling our consciousness and how fast we can rise as a people, on top of the fact that they're utilizing it to separate people. I get it if it's like you had all of these different world religions and you could bring them together and everybody is respectful and understands like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like with that loving type of energy versus like, nah, y'all wrong. Mine's is right. Creating separation. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not.
Exactly. And then it's crazy too, because like, I mean, just like within the Christian, book, the Bible, you got over 4,000 different denominations within one book. You know what I'm saying? Right. Same thing when you go to the government. You got now all these different, or the far left, the far right, the left, the right, the mid right, like they got all these different terms. You know what I'm saying? To try to describe a Republican and a Democrat and a liberal versus and it's just all these different fashions and boxes and groups that keep people separated and distracted on that common goal, which is the coming together, the unity, the everybody working together for the one common goal. You know what I'm saying? We all living on this fucking earth. We all live on this planet together. And yet we still can't seem to understand what's the main objective. Like what's going on? What are we, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we here for? Why are we here to do it? And all of that type of stuff. So that's kind of like where my answer is.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. Because you say separated, and I'm gonna have to put a lot of thought on that, because I thought it was kind of to bring motherfuckers together and that control. I'm with you with the world domination, right? I'm with you with the control, but it's to have everybody aligned, but not aligned of being free, right? Be aligned along this guideline, aligned with limitations. You know what I mean? We want to push this up on y'all and have y'all thinking from this frame of way. Now, what they actually put in it, I can't say that it's bad or it's negative, but the way that, because it wasn't something that was just given as an option. Like, decide with us. If you look in the medieval days, man, this is shit that was forced on people. They was
Yeah.
killing pagans, man. They was slaughtering, and if you don't believe in this, then you know, I mean, we just gonna wipe your religion completely off this earth, man, and we gonna press this on you. You know, you have to, like, you know, it was kind of a like at one point in time, it was kind of like a force thing, man. We forcing this up on you. You know what I mean? If people do their history, they might feel like, oh yeah, this thing crazy. I don't know what the fuck they talking about. But if you look into the history books and look into these factors, you know, when it first started becoming a thing, the way that it spread it so widely, like a wildfire, was through force. You know what I mean? But it was spread it through force with a purpose. You know what I mean? For righteousness, but just not my purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And see, I love the different perspectives on that, right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Because just like Self was saying with the left wing and the right wing, right? People are going to go what they're actually geared towards, right? So even when we talk about government, right? And when they put out the what the president has planned, right? They give us this, okay, well, this guy's gonna do A, B, and C, D. This guy's gonna do E, F, G, like you know what I mean? So it's just like,
Yeah.
which one do you think is gonna be better for you? But they're taking a consistency of everything that's going on. So now they can create a reality that feeds these people and that feeds these people, but it also is making
Yes.
them clash, right?
Right. And
So
that's
I
working in their favor. They control us by
exactly.
fighting. Yeah.
So in real time, it's just like, you know, and that's why I have my perspective of it, because it's just like if I see that you guys are only giving me these two options, I'm gonna step back and do me. Like, you know what I mean? So I look at it as an opportunity to say, I ain't fucking with none of that shit. It's all gotta be about me, baby. I don't know what y'all got going on. Like, you know what I mean? So and I think that and you know, as individuals, especially if you're seeing that some people can't come together, well, it's just like, well, I'm going to get my shit together. We probably can't be a community, but guess what? I'm gonna build me up spiritually, right? And then you get like-minded people like how we are right now, and then now we say, oh, okay, so everything isn't for everybody at the same time, right? So now it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, well, maybe, you know, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna get y'all later. Like, you know what I mean? But for right now, this is what this is. And in fact, the only thing that we can do sometimes is just drop jewels. Like, you know what I mean? So we can't hand them to people. We have to drop them down because handing it may seem like a force, right? Just like, here, take this, take it. Somebody be like, I don't have fingers. I can't clutch it. And it's just like, all right, well, just pick it up when your fingers go in. It's all good. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
He said when your fingers growing.
Y'all know my analogies be
That was
yeah,
really
man,
good
that's right.
stuff. And I totally mostly relate with like what Self was saying. I think that like a lot of times the religion was kind of created the way they did it for control purposes. But then now hearing you explain it from your perspective, and then I think about how Jesus spoke in parables for those who have ears to hear, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when that
Right.
person is ready, they're going to hear it the right way. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a lot of both, and that's why I said when I
Yeah,
was
it is.
like, I'm not even
Okay.
and disagreements with the people who still don't see it from a esoteric perspective. I
On a
still
positive.
understand their perspective, like you know what I mean. So it's like, you know, it's like I'm because I'm a Gemini. We already know that, like you know what I mean. But I understand the spiritual perspective of things, and I also understand the carnal perspective of things. And what Self is referring to is like, hey, we in this game and we see the game that y'all playing. Like, you know what I mean? So, and I
yeah,
understand that perspective. That's why me and him get along so good, because it's just like we are the two forces that come together as one, and you know what I mean? That line. And so,
Mhm.
but it's just like sometimes people, even if we invite people to come to the show and we can say things that's relative to what their understanding is from our perspective, and they still, it's not for them at this time.
Yeah.
So even if I think, and I'm saying that to say, even if the government was to flat out say this is what this is, if you're not ready to receive it, it's gonna fall on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
So they gotta put it in a religion, like just like cartoons, like they gotta put things in cartoons for kids to get, and then as you grow older, and then so it's a method, but at the same time,
I still think Bugs Bunny had it right when he made the wrong turn in Albuquerque, but
Mm-hmm.
no, but at the same time, it's just like, if you don't control your mind, then we got a system for you. So I
By default, yeah.
yeah, and that's why we have the Free Your Mind podcast, because you have to free it in order to free yourself. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, they got something for you too. If you think it's a joke, like they got something for you. You might not like it.
If you're looking for it, they got something for you.
Right. And so there's never been a world without religion, ever. Like from the beginning of time, humans have had to worship something, right? They had to believe in something bigger.
That's a great question.
Bigger in the sense of what? What do you when you say that?
What is it in humans that we're driven to worship, to find a God, and everybody makes their God, and they create God in their own image, sort of, instead of the other way around.
Create God in their own image.
Hey, that part though, right there. I think that's like a subconscious thing, like I think that's subconsciously them worshiping themselves, because they know, especially if they're the ones that are creating the image,
For
so
sure.
it's like it's almost like reverse. I think we had talked about that before, Woon, when it came to the Bible. Like God couldn't even be God without the creation. Like the creation damn near created God to be that,
Exactly.
and then it reflects back onto them. You know what I mean? And so I damn near look at it like that. Like if they're creating God in their own image, I think they're just pulling they're trying to pull the spiritual aspect of them out into the physical on a physical way that they could see it and understand it. And simultaneously they are worshiping the aspects of themselves through that.
Oh, that was a bar.
So
well, and then maybe just trying to understand, why are we here? Maybe they've always wondered from the very beginning. I mean, we're on this planet. Nobody knows what's going on out there, and we're all wondering. But it seems like they kind of knew stuff that we don't know now. I don't know why that is, but
that kind of goes back to that wiping the memory.
Hey, and that's it's pretty tough when you think about it like that. Because, and I hate to say it like this, but we have a lot of what I would consider slightly distractions, right? Because imagine if you don't got a lot of technology and a lot of things going on. It's either one, you're going to be tapping in with yourself, you're going to be tapping in with the people around you, or you're going to be tapping into nature, right? So it's just like, imagine how they came up with the sundial. Just like you were sitting out there, just
right.
Mine is just
watching shadows.
Yeah, like you was like, okay, how does this work? Okay, how does that work? Okay, how does this work? And then the more that technology advances, the further we get away from what created technology, right? So it's just like, I don't know. It's dope at the same time, but it's just like, that's why it's good. And I know Selfmade says this story a lot. When he was on his journey, he used to just sit out in nature.
Yeah,
that's the best right there. That's where you're, you're connecting and all of that, and getting all that good vibrations and downloads. You get downloads when you're sitting out there in nature.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You just, I don't know, there's like a calmness, but at the same time, like especially when you like your understanding is there. Like you get like this deep grounding of understanding, you know. I used to I remember I used to climb this tree. This was when I was really in there, you know what I'm saying? I used to climb this tree and I used to sit, it was a big ass tree too. And like if I fell off, nigga, my neck I'm done. You know what I'm saying? It was I was up there. And I remember I used to sit up there, man, and like I'd be so still, like birds would be like, I don't think the birds would see me, like they'd fly so close to me, or you know, squirrels and shit. It'd be all types of stuff happening, and you just start picking up on subtleties. You know what I mean? Like the way that the different animals is communicating, and you know what I'm saying? How the wind, like you're it's a whole different experience. I think that everybody got to experience that, you know, because it's crazy, and it tells you a lot of stuff about yourself too. You know what I mean? As you watching, you know, how certain things communicate. It's like, how do you communicate with the people that you are around? You know what I mean? It's all, it's like a whole mirror. You know what I mean? You just getting shown yourself in all these different ways and different aspects. And then you could use that and apply that to yourself and how you move and how you communicate with other things around you and stuff, you know?
For sure.
That's really good.
And I'm assuming, going back to your question, Francesca, like how it's
Right.
that, you know, that some people, I guess you want to say Native Americans, a lot of things to them are God. Like, you know what I mean? The trees,
Right.
the water.
Right. Everything is a
bushes.
god, right? The god of
Right.
the sky, and right.
Exactly. So it's just like, you know, because a lot of the times, some of the people that live within the inner city, we go out to nature to take a vacation. Like we just want to go out to the woods and go camping and, you know, just be in that element, be in that essence and outside of the city lights and noises and all these different things, to where we just want to have that.
Yeah, right. For reals.
I think your soul longs for it. I really do.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's rebuilding that aura right there.
Yeah.
So, man, we get a little active in the comments, brother. Let's show the people watching some love.
I'm throwing them up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Alicia Barnes for sure. Shout out to Danae Smith.
Peace to the name.
Shout out to Ellis Garrett in the building. Boy, was popping with cousin.
Oh, you see that?
Right.
Let me ask y'all something. So, y'all know us as humans, you know, also as energetic beings. We we see less than 1% of, you know, the light spectrum, or the spectrum light, or even just the energy field. Now, when it comes to aura and energy, just to go back on this build that we had a couple days ago with cousin and aunt.
Right.
When you're really walking in your, when you really walk in the true power that you have, right? Your scale goes beyond that 1%, because they can only see less than 1%, but they can feel more. They can feel more. They can feel the energy. And that's another thing that I tried to throw in there the other day too, but I was just
That's really good. Yeah.
I was just driving and stuff like that, but I feel like energy. I don't know, man. Energy, you know, but it has negatives too, though, because, you know, every positive has a negative. There's no up without a down. There's no up without a down. There's no, you know.
Yep.
So it's I don't know, but I wanna kind of throw some energy topics up in there real quick though, to see what y'all thinking about that. I know cousin though, because I'm trying to. I know we were talking the other day about you know, just walking in your power, and it's not just a cocky manner, or it's not just a, you know, I believe it. It's the fact of I know it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly. You know it in your core. You feel it.
Yeah.
You know
Other
when your
people can
energy
feel
is
it.
off. You know when you're off balance. You know what I mean? Like you can tell when you need to get grounded and stuff. It's also real. I mean, you know it. Yeah.
I would hope it would be when you know it, right, cousin? Because if it wasn't when you know it, it wouldn't be authentic, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly. But you know that, and the reason why that came up too, because you know, just what Unc just said, you know, that's why people, you know, take camping trips or, you know, just go on vacation, you know, because they rebuilding that aura. Because as soon as you get back, you feeling good. Shit, I just came back from such and
Like
such.
re-energize, right?
Yeah,
Right.
we charged back up now. You feel me?
Yeah.
That was the only reason why I really brought that up, bro.
Yeah. All this other stuff, man, this stuff out here is draining. You got all these artificial lights, you know what I'm saying? You got
Artificial everything.
literally everything. All of that stuff is draining your natural aura, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so yeah, you be needing those meditation sessions and
Yeah.
you know, nature trips to get you back ground, because that's where you're naturally, that's where you really, so like keeping it, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where you really supposed to be at.
Right.
Your feet supposed to be grounded on the ground, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you one with nature. Like just how your energy cycles within your body. It's like it has to have a place to ground. We walking on concrete. We got rubber shoes on, just disconnecting us from the earth, like all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So then, what you talking about? Like, yeah, going back and re-energizing and. You know what I'm saying? Getting into lake water, you know what I'm saying? Like
That is
doing all
so
this stuff.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
real.
You're absolutely right. Well, I live out here in the country. I mean, we just had a tornado come through last night. I might have another one. That's why I keep looking over, because I'm
Oh man,
expecting a tornado.
Oh,
man,
please be safe
I
out
had a
there.
tornado
yeah.
watch. Talk about power in nature.
I know, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. Hopefully, yeah, you stay safe.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a closet I'll go dive into if it gets
Oh,
So how does that work? Like when you live in like cities that have tornadoes, do the houses and apartments come with like something already prepared for you guys?
You know, it's so weird. You would think so. No, I live in a duplex. I mean, we have nothing at all. Nowhere to go for safety.
Yeah, my
hey.
mom, she used to live in Tennessee, and they had a tornado out there a couple of years ago, and she's from California, so she's not used to that. And she was
Tennessee
like,
just got hit today with a big one. I think I saw on the news.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that thing's traveling quick then.
Yeah,
And she was like, all they did was just have a siren, just
Yep.
siren for
that's crazy.
no help, no nothing, just a siren. You know, get inside the fucking house and try to shelter up.
I've heard people say that they'd rather live through an earthquake than a tornado, but you can't prepare for an earthquake. At least a tornado gives you a little bit of time, you know.
That is true. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's so crazy. I've never experienced an earthquake ever in my life.
For real?
Hey,
Oh,
me neither.
really?
People would be like, "Hey, bro, you
Wow.
felt that earthquake?" And I'm like, "Nah, I ain't feel shit."
Well, now that you said that, you'll probably get to experience one. The universe heard you. It says, "Oh,
Exactly.
you want to experience an
I
earthquake?
know, right?
I can do
Yeah,
that
hey,
for you."
hopefully it ain't no crazy big one either. You know, my first one, they shake. You know, give me a little light one. I don't want no crazy one.
For real.
Yeah, no.
And we in California, so they talking about the big one. You know what I mean? Like the big one's supposed to happen. Like, nah, let that one be
Like,
down the road a little bit.
any day now for the past 30 years. Any day
I know,
now.
right?
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you see how much that scared the Californians out, right? Yeah.
They scaring people with everything. They know how to do it, you know, with
Oh, yeah.
with the shots, you know, like that, a lot of stuff, man.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what it is? You know what's so crazy? Even like it's like with the whole like natural disasters and stuff like that. Well, I really wouldn't even call them natural disasters at this point because I feel like a lot of this shit is man-made, honestly. But,
Yeah.
but it's like they're marketing it. They're branding it. You know what I mean? Like every time it's a natural disaster or I mean a man-made disaster, They're
Yes.
already blasting it on the radio and this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? It's like they're
Yes.
marketing. And
They
then there's no
are. They
conversation. So
are. You are right. They are. Have you ever noticed they color code them? Like you do, like I'm in marketing, right? I deal with marketing, and you use certain colors for certain things when you're marketing, and you keep with the same certain color scheme for whatever you're marketing. Do you remember the orange banner that they put up for COVID? COVID-19, they put the orange banner. Everything was orange. Remember that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that.
I wasn't even hip to that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Every single thing that's created, they want to push it. They color code it, and you'll see it everywhere. It'll be like at the top.
Oh, she was about to get
Oh, there she goes.
It's marketing. You kind of cut out like in the middle of what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you?
Oh no, it's running consistent now. It just froze just like a little bit.
Oh, how weird. Like I said, I'm out in the boonies. I got 2 bars, so I apologize.
Oh no,
you're all good. You're all good.
You're good.
You guys are coming in really good on my end, though.
But yeah, I feel like it's definitely a marketing.
And they be showing you in the movies and stuff too, them geoengineering movies, and they be shooting stuff up in the clouds. And we do know about cloud seeding, where they know how to eject sodium ions and all this stuff into the clouds to make the clouds produce rain and snow and all of that. They've
been doing that for a long, long time. I think they started in the 50s or 60s, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they've been doing it, and now they've got it perfected.
Right.
Yep.
It's funny. I was reading up on something, and it was a couple years ago. How everybody once in a while pops up. Oh, I'm a time traveler. I came back from 20 whatever. This one guy, he said, I found it very interesting. He said he's from like 2050 something or 2060, I can't remember. But he was saying everyone there was bald headed, no hair. They had no hair on their head, and that's basically from the radiation from the pollutions that they were shooting. Fucking with the sky, fucking with the weather and shit like that. And so
Oh my God.
throughout time, all that shit started to fall down. Start causing radiation to everyone, and start losing their hair, start getting sick and shit like that. And I found that very interesting because I'm like, damn, they what comes up must come down. It must come down.
For sure.
What comes up must come down. So whatever that they're shooting,
yeah, but it's gonna happen.
Something's gonna come down.
Right.
Regardless. I just found out.
And now, so what are they putting up there now? I mean,
I have no idea. I just found that very interesting because it's like I feel like a radiation. I wouldn't call it a disaster, but I feel like something radiation will pop off before. Will you consider radiation a sickness as well, or what?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's certain
it makes
how
you
it
sick.
is.
Yeah.
Exactly how it reacts with the body for sure.
Okay, but is it
Well, look, when they treat people with cancer and they give them radiation treatments,
Exactly.
some people don't even survive the radiation treatments. It's weird. Why do some people make it and some people don't? It's how we each maybe react to the radiation, like how our own biology or something like that. I don't know. But aren't we affected by radiation like all day? Like I'm sitting in front of my computers. And,
Exactly.
look at the cell phone.
Exactly.
Yep.
I know when I used to have like my keloid, and I remember like it kept growing back, and it was like, all right, we're just gonna use radiation to just. I'm like, no, you ain't. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I would come back every time it grow and just cut it off. I'm not gonna radiate because they said, like it was gonna affect my thing, and I just imagine me like not being able to smile on this side of my face because I was like, nah, I ain't doing that.
Right.
Wow.
That is a trip.
Like I can't hear no more. Like, what the hell y'all do to me?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't deal with that radiation. If the best, the more the natural, the best way. Like, you know what I mean?
I agree.
I know some of these licenses, I'll
I
say that.
agree. The problem is most people wait too long. Like they think about that after everything else doesn't work.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you know, it's been getting hotter a lot of places too, though. Like why the hell is Vegas like touching 120 degrees? Like that is fucking crazy.
Man.
That's crazy. Even Phoenix, it gets hotter. But like before, like when I used to come to Vegas when I was a kid, it used to never be this hot. I used to come out here in the summer. It used to never be that hot. It was never really touching 120 degrees, 121, 118. You know, like
20 is
that's why
wild.
I get the desert, but like that's like can't even go outside heat. That's like don't even bring the kids outside. Don't even go swimming. It's too fucking like it's too hot. Like
You know, my
it's
granddaughters live in Henderson, and last summer they told me it was too hot to go swimming.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it's that pollution, that air, the weather. It's going to be the death of us, most definitely.
I don't know, man. I done heard a lot of different stuff. I think a lot of different things, I guess, about the heat aspect of, like, you know, the planet warming up. I think because we're going through a shift in consciousness right now, that being that everything is connected, and
Yeah.
you know, the rise of the frequency of the mind is making everything shift. So I think we're going through some sort of a shift that's changing, you know, us and the world is changing all at the same time. You know what I mean?
1000%. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, with that, damn, that's like a dope way to look at it, right? And I know some people would say that, like, you know, as far as like the heat is concerned, of course, attached to the sun. So that's why they do them chemtrails to try to block out the sun.
Right,
It's
right,
like,
right.
why are
Yeah,
you trying to block out something that's naturally going to happen? Like, you know what I mean?
exactly, exactly.
It's going to happen. So the more that we fight against it, the more that it's going to push it to go forward. I don't know.
And then what are those chemicals that they're using to block out the sun? What's the damage it's doing to humans, animals, plants, trees?
Yeah, yeah,
What comes up must come down.
yeah.
Yeah. See, there is kind of like that radiation that was coming down. Well, now what's coming down on us from,
They saying that our soil is polluted with like high levels of aluminum
and that's what's probably in those things. Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
fact.
Aerosols they're spraying and stuff. It's high in aluminum, and that stuff got to come down. What they go up, got to come down.
Right.
And then yeah, it's affecting how our crops, us growing food. If you know the capability of us to grow food in certain areas, if it got too much aluminum, our plants ain't even finna grow. Like, you know, I think it's you know it's all by design to keep the consciousness at a certain level. You know, like that's the whole fight, is to keep people dumb and stupid so they could keep controlling us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it feels like. And I feel like also, do you get the idea that it is kind of working?
Oh
I was
yeah, it's
just
been
that. I was just
yeah,
to that. I
it's
think it
been
is.
working.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
it
it
is for
is
sure.
too.
And with that, you know, because there's like the vibrations that you have is going to dictate where you're at, right? So the higher that you vibrate, and I'm not saying that we got like a force field around us or nothing like that, but for some people it may be suffocating them, right? So whereas people who vibrate higher is just like, yeah, and then we get past it, like, you know what I mean? So just to combat that, it's just like keep your vibrations high because that's ultimately what they're fighting against. So it's just like if you're fighting against it, I'm all for it. Like, you know what I mean?
But like
I
what
Yeah.
Ye said, as far as like what did you say as far as like your spirit being shifted or something? a shaken, like exhausted spirit.
Yeah.
It's like what's happening and what's taking place right now for all the people who probably haven't came to this awakening, understanding. It seems like it's gonna force them to there's something that I feels like there's something that's gonna happen. I'm not on no conspiracy like, oh, it's a
No,
doomsday type
I
thing.
think there is
No,
a
not at
But
all.
yeah, I think
yeah,
there
like
is
there's something taking place that's gonna either you're naturally gonna have to shift or it's only gonna be this you gotta shift or something else. I don't know what that something else is. I ain't gonna say you gotta lay it down, but you know what I'm saying? Like something's gonna have to happen. You're either gonna have to make that shift or you are not gonna be in alignment with what's going on.
Would you
Right, 'cause
say
imagine-
that? Would you say that that could be what the Bible talks about, a rapture?
Right.
I
I'd agree. I would agree.
Rapture of the mind. You're either going to go up or
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Because imagine going into what people are calling the age of the Aquarius, and it's supposed to be the age of information, and then you got some people that just is like, nope.
Exactly.
those are the
How do you
ones that are
exist in
going
that?
no, those are going to be the ones that have a chip in their brain.
Hey, no, for reals though, because it's like they're gonna use certain people as machines,
Yes,
if you allow
that's
them.
their plan. You bet they're going to do that. And the only person that would go and do that willingly has already surrendered their brain to whatever.
Yep.
They're not even, you
That
know what
part.
I mean? They're not even thinking with their own mind anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Once you have that chip, like that Neuralink, the whole thing that Elon Musk is doing, like I feel like at that point, like you're half AI, half human and half AI.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
transhumanism for sure.
Yeah, that's Elon Musk's idea of a perfect world, I think, to create a world of robots that he can control to become his workers.
He got the big red button. All you gotta do is press that big red button. They all gonna power on. They all gonna power on.
For real.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is crazy stuff. But I mean, it's all true. I mean, yeah, we would sound conspiratorial, I suppose, to somebody who hasn't been paying attention. It would really sound conspiratorial. But
Right.
if you really just look at the facts of everything that you know is real, how can you not draw these conclusions?
Yeah. I think that, some people, just like what Self was saying, like some people that aren't ready for it, they just like, yeah, we're rooted in this and whatever. And it's just like, well, why don't you use that same energy to propel yourself into what is? And I guess at that point, ignorance is bliss, right? And it's just like, yeah, well, I'm gonna just remain ignorant, fuck everything else. And it's just like, it's
Right.
cool.
But then how do you feel like if somebody's happy where they're at and they don't have any desire to learn or to grow spiritually, and they've arrived at their level of what they're comfortable with, and they just go about their day? That's okay, right? I mean, that's what they're happy with.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's not good for me. I would never settle for that. But I mean, I'll be honest. Everybody that I've known throughout my life that I went to church with, they're still there in the same spot that they were 40 years ago. No change.
So what like then to me then the question would be, what do you do or what happens to stagnant energy?
Damn.
Good question. Anybody got an answer? That's a good one to think about. Wow. What happens to stack? Okay,
like
so
it can
let's
only
apply that to energy.
Repo.
What does it do?
repoed.
like it because energy don't die. It can only transfer from one. So it seems like it can only be stagnant up until a certain point that it's not like, but then I guess it turns into like, what is it that changes the stagnation? You know, like what is it that gets it from being stagnant to actually then moving?
Active, right? And see, going back to what you said, there's going to be something.
It's gonna be something.
It has to say, all right, if you ain't gonna walk, I'm gonna push you.
and you see what's happening right now and what's taking place, you know, just with all the presidencies and what's happened. Who he's getting rid of a lot of stuff. A lot of people is mad. A lot of people is doing this. It's a lot of stuff happening right now. You know what I mean? And it is disrupting the spirit of a lot of people that I even see in my, immediate surroundings. Like, oh dang, you flustered. Like, yeah, Elon Musk is doing this and this, It's like it's changing their whole reality, right? Like their whole reality is being shook up right now, and they're not used to it. And it's either gonna bring the best out of them to where they can, fully awaken and see what's really taking place. Or they're gonna continue to get shook in this, and it's like they're gonna continue to get shook until they do pop out, I guess,
Would that be kind of going back to what we said? Like, like I said, I had to kind of have a crash and burn experience before
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe the collective is going to have a crash and burn.
That's something.
That would seriously be apocalyptic in that in itself. Imagine 2/3 or more of the population just.
They say that 144,000.
Right.
Oh, you told me something about the 144,000. What was it? Tell me that. Can you tell me that again?
Yeah, it's just all of coming to the 9. That's ultimately what it is, coming to the 9 within yourself. And they say that those are the chosen people, but they're actually the people that chose, right?
Right.
And so how ultimately it's just like, 9 is the highest number. So
completion.
Exactly, right? So it's
right.
just like when you come to that level of completion or full understanding or walking in your essence, there's nothing that nobody can take away from you. There, you're already at where you're at. So now they're saying that you're going to ascend to a different plane. Like, you know what I mean? Like the 144,000 are the chosen ones. But just like I said, they're the ones who chose, but there's not literally only 144,000 people. It's just those people that chose. So
that's awesome. So do you think we're going to transition from like 3rd dimension to 5th dimension? Apparently we just skipped 4th dimension altogether. I'm still trying to figure that out.
I think that all dimensions are available to us right now.
Right.
So when it comes down to just the different planes that can express those dimensions is where it's at. Because if we look at dimensions, it's just height, width, base, like, you know what I mean? So spiritually, all of that's everywhere. It's already what it is. But where we're at, because I can say that we're on some all of us right now are on the 5th dimension, and that's why we mention what we mention. And some people are like, I don't worry, what? Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, I see. Like, we're on a whole different plane, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. I don't think it's not fathomable to really fully live in that essence. But in on this plane, like, we might have to go to a whole different plane, because that's what we're setting ourselves up for, to ascend to whatever the next thing is. But it's still connected to what this is, so we're kind of like in both.
You gotta. It's like levels. Were you saying something?
No, you go first. I was listening.
It reminds me of like levels, when you're on the level, like if you playing a video game, you know, it's like you're going through that level. It's level 3, or that'd be like the third dimension.
For
You know,
sure.
once you pass level 3 and you go on to level 4, you still have all of your recollection of level 3, level 2, and level 1.
Facts.
You know, so it's like as you go up, you gain what you
That's
go
good.
through. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
but like if you on level 5, you're striving to get to level 6. So that's when you're doing all your self work and all your growing and changing your perspective to be able to, you know, change your frequency to get into that next level.
Fine with
And
that
so,
shit. Yeah.
like, yeah, we jumping from different, you know, levels, different dimensions, mentally, consciously, and like, yeah, I guess if like to answer your question, um, if like, because if you stuck at third dimension and everybody's on 5, 6, 7, you know what I mean? Like everybody's going up and you choose to stay at third dimensional, it's like, what would you consider that? Like, what would they be? Would you consider them a baby, or is it like, nah, you gotta go type shit? Like
You gotta go.
you gotta go.
Imagine trying to FaceTime somebody with an iPhone 1. You like, hey, bro,
Right,
what are you doing?
right, exactly.
Is that kind of that unequally yoked type thing? Like you can't really move the cart forward if you're, you know what I mean? We all need to
Yeah.
get on the same page, right? So we can keep this
Right.
thing rolling.
Yep.
At least to a certain extent, anyway. And I
Yeah,
wonder if it's
definitely.
going to take the entire, what is it, 2,000 something years to transition from one age to another? Is it going to take the entire age of Aquarius to get everybody, you know, up to where they need to be?
Great question. That's a great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Because
I
right
wonder-
now it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like we are the majority.
Right.
No, right.
You know?
I think we're kind of still part of the pioneers in this, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
and then the ones that did come, they kind of were laughed at and told that they were, you know, going to burn in hell and all of that. Have you guys ever watch William Donahue?
Yeah, you put me up on him. Yeah.
Did you watch him? Right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
The guy's not alive anymore, but he was right on point. And all of that stuff was just like you, Woon. I mean, it was just getting downloaded to him. He was just saying what was being downloaded to him. That was it. And
wow. See, to throw a little chaos in the conversation, right? When we talk about burning in hell, it was somewhere in John, he said that, I give baptisms through water. And he said the one that's after me is going to give baptisms in fire. Right?
Right.
So Jesus, like, because because he was talking about Jesus baptizing people in fire. I don't know if there's a Bible scripture that said that they were sending people to Jesus and he baptized people in fire. So I don't know if that's what this hell is going to look like.
Yeah.
That's really.
And I could go so far with that, but I'm trying to keep it PG-13.
Oh, so what would connect to that? The fire of the Holy Spirit, or the tongues of fire that came down on Pentecost? Oh my God, I have something I just learned on that from that William Donahue. My God, there's so much stuff. We could go on all night.
Yeah, going to what you just now said, because me and Selfmade was talking about, the fire that came on to people, and everybody was speaking their own language, but then when the spirit came upon the people, they all understood each other's language, right? And that's kind of what we're doing right now. Everybody has their own different perspective, but then under this umbrella of spiritual enlightenment, we all understand each other.
Right.
And
right.
I think that's why I fuck with the Bible, because they do say what's happening, right? What's taking place, what's going to take place, aka like, you know, all of the what do you call the prophets, right? And prophesizing and things coming to pass. So, you know, it's I like how they put it, but at the same time, you know, we're living proof of what that is. So, you know, the word is with God, you know, and the word became, you know, whatever it is. So we are that word,
Yeah.
right? So we are the living manifestation of what that is. But
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Wow.
oh, is it? Shout out to D in the building,
He said the burning bush.
right?
Yeah. Oh, that stuff is, man, it get deep. It definitely gets deep.
Yeah, because that fire, I don't know. It's gonna put some.
You gotta go through it.
Yeah, make people get in motion for sure.
You gotta go through it. Oh, I think she froze out.
Oh yeah,
Let me see. Oh yeah.
yeah, she froze out. Well, while we in a brief intermission, shout out to everybody that's in the chat
Yeah. Peace to the chat.
for sure. I see Wardell Curry in the building on a book. Oh, okay. So Carter went. I see you, Drew. He threw this thing on a book and shit too.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, but again, for the people who's tuned in, that's my publisher for my children's books. Again, and you know, we have these conversations off camera all the time, just long phone conversations and whatnot. So I invited her to come on so she could come spill, and you know, she was up for the bill. So you know, it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Drew for pulling up too for his first time.
Right. Hey, yeah, for real. Big shout out to Drew, man.
Yeah,
Okay, hold on. I think she's back.
yeah, nah, she in here.
There you go. All right, cool. Got you back.
Sorry about that. My other phone said it was overheating and it shut down.
Oh yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm on my old iPhone 5 right now, so I don't know how it's working. Can you see me okay? Because I can barely see y'all on this little thing.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
What did I miss? Sorry.
I was just letting people know that you're the publisher of my children's books, and you know we
Aw.
build like this on a regular, so
Thank
it's a
you.
beautiful thing for you to pull up.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. You got to do another one. It's time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I had to be your publisher for a minute. It's time to do another book.
What do we do? Oh, yep, it's proper season for it.
I know, huh?
But speaking to that, you know, I'm shying away from because we had the conversation briefly last time about shying away from doing children's books to doing the MI versus the I am book. Talking about the spiritual journey coming from the human perspective to the spiritual perspective. And I'm actively writing that right now, so I'll probably get with you. I'll say like in a few months because I have to calm my spirit down in order to write it out. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun experience, and then you get to read it and see everything before it's even published. So I'll feedback from it for sure.
I know. I love it. That was really good. And it's much needed too, by the way. The world needs more of those.
Hey, hold on real quick. Hey, is her voice on your end too, Self?
Yeah, it's low.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's my old phone.
It's okay.
Yeah, definitely. Put that book together. It'd be good.
Yeah, I am. The more that we talk, the more that we have conversations, the more it's easy for me to go into my little phone and start jotting things down. So this, you know what I mean? It's a lifestyle. So it's just like I really just gotta sit down and get it done. But it's already in the process. It's in the works.
Nice. What about everybody else? Anybody else want to write a book?
Hey, this is that time for
I
sure.
know, right. I thought about it in my beginning phases, you know, going through the awakening. It was all so fresh, you know what I mean, on the mind.
Right.
I had a cassette tape and everything. I was gonna record like my voice instead of like writing it, typing it,
Yeah,
and then just have somebody else type it all out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
for sure.
But yeah, no, that was years ago. So
Yeah.
I do music, so I kind of get mine's out, you know, on the musical end of the spectrum, you know. So
Yeah, that's, music is a spiritual art form, right?
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I don't have the music talent to make music, but I can feel it when somebody else is, you know what I mean? I'm connecting.
Right, right.
And I always think, gosh, that would be so amazing to be able to create music to do that to somebody else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
To bring that feeling to another. It's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, no, it is for sure. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely gotta plug her in with your projects for sure.
Yeah, okay. I will. I'll definitely. I gotta get you on are you on Facebook? She on Facebook?
I am, but I'm not. I mean, I get on there to just do business.
Business.
You can find me there. Yeah.
Okay, right.
You won't really find me scrolling and getting involved in stuff after the whole 2020 fiasco when everybody went crazy online. I just said, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
No, I
I
get you.
only get on to do what I got to do, and that's it.
Right. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll send it to Woon and
I was just gonna say, I'll definitely send it. And just to speak to that real quick, and I noticed you said, you know, just feel the music. One of his last projects that he put out, it was because I was still going through my journey, and that thing, it was at the proper time for me. It was at the proper time, and it just resonated with me so much. And I'm like, man, it's a classic album. It's classic to me anyway.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, I
I
get
do.
that a lot about that one.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
for
real.
that's exactly what I mean. Music, it's a spiritual art form and it reaches people.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It goes right inside, it's really amazing. And they also say that music raises our vibration and that
Right.
we should
Right.
always be listening to music or something all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The dope thing about his music is that he composes a lot of his own beats.
Wow.
Yeah.
So whatever
All of
vibration that he's feeling, and then he goes into the writer aspect of that same feeling, and that's how it. I don't know. It's dope to
Right.
me. You'll feel it when I send it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some. I got some just production style type projects, you know, coming on the way. Where it's just music, no lyrics.
I
So you
love
really
that.
get a vibe, you know what I mean, of just really hearing, you know what I mean, the essence of just the music. Because I be thinking too, sometimes like, you know, certain tracks, like, you know, the lyrics could throw off the essence of the music. You know
Right.
what I mean? It may not cohesively synchronize. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Right.
just having just the music, you're literally getting pure energy. Like you're getting pure
Right.
soul energy from the person who created it and put it together. You know what I mean? Like without any disruption, there's nothing else but just the music and the sounds that person was listening to and putting together and formulating, you know what I mean, to give
Absolutely.
off a certain, you know, sound. So I got some of
There's
those
times
coming.
I want to listen to music and I don't want to hear the lyrics.
The
I
words.
just want to hear
Exactly.
the music. Yeah.
Right. We
Yeah,
have
because
one
the words
project
will
out
start
like
getting
that.
me off in somewhere another direction.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna send you that one too because we have a project. Me and one of the other brothers. It's just music. Like there's no lyrics. It's just me. Just beats. Um, and so yeah, it's kind of on that type of time. But I got some new stuff that we produced that years ago. You know what I mean? So, um, but yeah, I got some new stuff. Coming on the way for sure. So be on the
So,
lookout.
so what do you do with it after you create it and you record it, and then what do you do?
And then I just put it out. Drop it on the certain platforms, Spotify, iTunes,
Spotify. Okay.
Amazon Music, all of that, so everybody can listen to it. It's not just me listening to the vibes. As much as
Yeah.
I may like it, you know what I mean. It's like I also want other
Send me
people
your
to.
links. That would be great. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. I'll keep you posted for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to answer your question about putting together a book, I'm planning on putting out a sequel to the Am I versus the I Am called We Are the I Am, and I'm gonna get him in the book. He's gonna be an author in that book as well.
Right. That'll be my chance to get in the author side.
Yeah, we talk too much. Like this is a lifestyle for us. We talk this all day,
Yeah.
so it's nothing.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, so it's nothing to have him. Just like you said, if you get a recorder, I'll write it. Like you know what I mean. I'll put it together,
Right. For reals.
and we could collectively, just put out the project. I think that'll be dope.
Yeah. I'm with that for
I
sure.
think that's going to be dope. Not it will be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Got to bring that into existence for real. We got Mike in the building.
Mike in the building. Uh-oh. Peace to God, man.
Yeah, peace, God.
Ah,
What it look like?
oh man, we
Nah,
chilling.
man.
We chilling.
Man, I'm standing in line at the Ramada waiting to get my room here in Reno.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you say that for sure.
Yeah. So I tap in real quick while I'm standing in line.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. How's your day going?
Man, just out here setting up customers, trying to build and grow this company.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
doing what I do.
Yeah, speaking of building the company, I don't know how long you've been in here, but this is the publisher for my children's books right here.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've
Hi.
been. How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks.
Good. Now I've been tapping in,
Yeah.
checking in a little couple different times. You know what I'm saying? While I've been trying to book me a room, and since I got off work,
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
definitely for
Nice.
sure.
heard
Yeah.
y'all was getting on a couple different topics. You know what I mean? It's like y'all was talking about radiation and disease. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All different types.
we wherever when we have open shows, it's just wherever the energy is flowing. Like you know what I mean?
Right.
Just feeling the vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to get in a little bit earlier, but I was just working, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But you're a regular on here. You pull up, so it's all good.
Yeah,
I appreciate your energy for sure.
for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's going on?
Man, not too much. We was probably just about to wrap it up to be honest.
Okay.
Because I gotta get up within like the next whew, 5 hours for real. And that
Man.
means I still
Yikes.
got to calm down. I still gotta, you know what I mean? I gotta get out of this spirit real quick, like you know what I mean? Change
They
my
get to
whole
laying it down.
yeah. Because
All
these
right.
conversations be getting me high and shit, like you know what I mean? So it's just like, all right, let me
Okay.
unplug real quick.
That's gotta get into that meditation zone just so you can talk
Exactly.
out. Do you
Well, I
notice
don't
that if
know
you
when y'all about to get
meditate?
back on and do this thing again. I got another brother that I wanted to bring on with me. He's writing books as well. Um, but yeah, my bad. I'm coming in way too late.
Oh no, you're
Right
okay.
on.
Yeah,
Hey,
you good.
yeah, you good, man.
That's awesome.
Better late than
Yeah.
never, for sure.
Right.
Mhm.
Shout out to moms. I see moms out here watching. What's
Peace
up,
to
lady?
moms.
Peace to Cosmic Cow TV. It's popping.
Peace.
Oh, Cosmo Cal TV.
Yeah, that's your people.
Yeah, man. I share that last little stream with brothers, man, and so I got them tapping in. That's great, man.
Oh, I appreciate that for sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Peace.
yeah. Tell them if they wanna come build, man. It just take a little bit of.
Yeah, man. We probably want to get together and do a good build sometime, man. At least like I said, man, I wish I would have got up, been able to get on early. You know what I'm saying? But I'm out here just moving and grooving.
For
Right,
sure.
right,
Trying to get some money. Shit don't be funny
right.
unless you're getting our money.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it seems like they got us in the hamster wheel. Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's
yeah, to keep
exactly what
going
it
back
is too.
round and around. We could just,
Right.
if we could just cross over, just kind of get our collective consciousness going in the direction where the money's coming to us instead of us chasing after it. That's where we got to be. See.
that's a
Right.
Mhm. I like that mindset right there.
man
Well,
Yeah,
it can
man.
happen, if
for
we
sure.
can do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You build it, it's gonna come for sure.
Yeah.
They got me in lines and stuff, man. I'm standing in line.
It'll be a long line, man.
Yeah, well, it's like Reno. They got some type of conventions going on out here, man. So this was like
Uh,
cheapest rate. I can get a room tonight with $115. Knowing like during the week in Reno, you can get a room for like $30, $40.
That's a fact.
mm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it still snowing out there? What's the weather like out there?
Man, that's why I came out here, man, because it wasn't snowing, man. You know,
Okay,
I, you
cool.
know, yeah, I had some customers that I had to come bring some orders to. Bring
mm,
samples. You know what I mean, and trying to get my customer, trying to get 50 to 100 people to give me $3,000 a month in sales, man.
Hey,
You know,
shameless plug. Go ahead and plug what your business is.
well, it's not my business, but it really is my business. I feel like I am the owner. 'Cause it's only me running and building and growing this company for my Indian partners and Romanian partners. You know what I'm saying? But we wholesale distribute tile, porcelain tile. We manufacture out of India. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
you know, yeah, all different type of size. Beautiful tile. You know what I mean? Trying to build and grow so I can set up another location in the Bay Area. Trying to get a location out in Vegas so I can come home. you
Nah, for real.
know what
You
I'm
said
saying?
Okay.
you from India?
Yeah, man.
You said that a little too light. I'm flexing if I buy some of your tiles. I'm like, man, take your
Yeah,
screenshot
man.
and step
Yeah,
on this
man. I got
Indian
He's from
India.
tile.
India.
We got India funding this company, man. They put about $5 million worth of material in our warehouse in Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? We just wholesale distributing. That's it. Setting up dealers all throughout California, Nevada, Utah. Trying to get out in Arizona. Just trying to take this thing nationwide. You know what I mean?
For
They
sure.
got me. They
Wow.
got me to build and do. I've been doing this for 18 years, man. So I got great
Hey,
relationships with everybody, and it ain't
Right.
nuts to make new friends and start getting new things going with new customers. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's for real, for real.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's what's up, man. Salute to you.
yeah, man. Just the hustle and the grind, man.
Right.
Same thing I've always done. Really, just a different product.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, man. I don't really want to hold you, man. I know you got to get up in the morning. Shoot,
I
Yeah,
gotta
we
get
gotta.
up
man.
tonight. I gotta get up in 4 hours.
Oh, for
And
real?
what was your name, ma'am?
I'm Francesca.
How you doing, Francesca?
I'm doing good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hey, I'm Maya Kaala.
Where do you live?
I'm from the north side of Sacramento.
Oh, okay. So it's snowing up where you are right now?
Not in Sacramento. I
Yeah.
mean, snowing Lake Tahoe and Truckee on the way up to Reno, but no, it ain't snowing up in Reno though. But coming up here, it be when it's snowing, it's a little hectic. I mean, I guess I was trying to come up here
Oh,
last night, but they had blocked some roads off because it was, the storm was
oh,
pretty bad
wow.
snowing. Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember, I used to live up in Susanville, California, which is like 70 miles north of Reno.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
It snowed a lot up there.
All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, man. We got to get something going another time, man. Just
Yeah,
just
definitely.
For
gotta give me
sure.
a little heads up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just whenever because I would love to build with the rest of your squad. So whenever y'all
Yeah.
get synchronized and we could agree on a date, and it's Gucci.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Saturdays is good, man, because that's when Karam's available.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
all
But
right, I'm with it.
yeah, so
Well,
let's put
I will
together
have
another.
to catch you guys when you're on next time. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Make sure
It
to
was
let me
nice.
know whenever you're doing something, okay? So that I can be in the loop, whatever you guys got going on.
Yeah,
Oh,
Right,
definitely.
for
right.
sure. I'm
Hey,
gonna
yo,
just
it's
send
Well,
nice meeting
you
you, man.
I'm gonna just send you the links
nice
every
meeting
time we
you
go
too.
live.
Hey, man, peace to the guys, peace to the earth, man. I love y'all, man.
Peace, man. Peace to God.
Yeah, yeah, I'm out.
Oh, okay. So Cosmon, he said yeah, it's Gucci. Yeah, so yeah, whenever
If Saturday work, man, then
yeah,
if we gotta run it on a Saturday, we can run it. I mean, as long
yeah,
as you know what I'm saying, it fit within, your schedule.
yeah, for sure. I'm out here.
Right, right.
Literally.
Thank you so much for having me on. That was
Nah,
really
thank
fun.
you
Yeah,
for coming, for real.
Yeah, you
absolutely
guys are
does.
a blast. I mean, I can sit and talk with you guys all night long.
Right,
For
right,
sure,
right. We used to do that too.
man.
we
Yeah,
got we got six,
I
7 hour shows and stuff like
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
But it's endless. I mean, once you open up,
yeah,
it's you could
exactly.
yeah.
just keep going and going, and that's the whole beauty of the whole thing.
Right.
There's
Yeah,
no rules and regulation that says you have to bow your head and pray like this.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
yeah. I remember when me and Selfmade, when we used to build, and we'll sometimes film it or record it or do whatever, and then we'll stop the recording, and then we'll keep going, and then we'll be like, "Man, we should have recorded this
I
shit
know.
right
We should
here."
have. I know. Right.
So it's kind of dope to have things documented. Just like I said, like certain conversations, we could just put it out to the people piece by piece and segment by segment because everybody has their contribution, and I think it's dope. Just like I said, when our first couple conversations, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, we going, and I don't even know how long our first conversation was, Francesca. I think it was
Hours. We talked
hours, right?
hours.
Yeah,
We got on that, and it was like, whew.
yeah, man, I
Yeah, it was
love it.
really good. And I was so happy because I'm I'm in Bible Belt. There's nobody here for me to physically speak to about
Oh,
this stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm taking all this in from all these other sources outside of me, but not person to person or even on the phone. You know what I mean? So when you started talking on the phone, I was like, wow, a real human being I'm actually able to like talk with,
well, yeah,
That
no,
was so good.
I appreciate you for pulling up in this way too, because a lot of the time, sometimes people get put in a certain space for trying to speak in this type of time, like you know what I mean, and it kind of discourages them to continue to speak or to even speak to other people. And I know sometimes it gets hard, you know what I mean. So I appreciate you for coming to, shed your light and shed your energy with us. And
Yeah.
this, to me, this is like the official induction into the I amism. Is that safe to say, Selfmade? Is this?
I
Can we
love
can
it.
we
Yeah,
induce her?
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and
Small
Chucky,
little crash course.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm telling you that you've got to do it. You just have to do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, I'll talk to you another time, whenever, later.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
next week we'll talk. But I have another thought and project that you might be interested in.
Okay, yeah, let me know for sure.
Yeah, I
I'm
will.
open.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to get out of here.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're good.
yeah, we can handle that on this side too.
Right,
I
right.
found the leave button. Okay. I'm sorry. I've never been on one of these before. It's my first time. But
Now
thank
we
you so much.
appreciate you
It
for
was so
having.
nice meeting you all.
Yeah. We appreciate you for coming on and spreading your wisdom and insight for sure. You definitely got to have you come on again. So this ain't gonna be the last
I
time.
think I
Sure.
learned a lot more from you guys. So that was really good for me. So thanks so much.
Definitely.
Right. No
All
problem.
right. You guys have a great night.
All right.
You too.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Hey, Cosmon said, "What time y'all going on?"
Ooh. Well, that's at what and I'm only asking because I know Mike builds with people in different cities and states.
Yeah.
But what's are you on Eastern Pacific or are you in what's your time zone?
Me?
No, I'm talking to
Oh,
Cosmo.
right.
Eastern Pacific time, you in like I don't what part of the country you in?
Yeah. Cause yeah, it's a Saturday for me, so I'm my timeline pretty much open,
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm open. And then a back to back two in a week. Woo, this is gonna be lit.
Right?
Hey, but shout out to while we waiting to get that answer, shout out to everybody who's pulling up, tapping in.
Yeah.
Oh, Detroit. Okay. So I believe, yeah, that's that might be 2 hours away from you. So I think no, that might be three. Is that two or three?
Michigan. I think it's 3.
Yeah, because it's like right on the cusp, huh? I know it's a little bit past Chicago and shit. Yeah, so it might be three. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. So, whoa, because I'm more than likely gonna be somewhere out here. So if we do the same time, if you're good with going on at 9 o'clock your time, Cosmon, then I guess we should be good.
Yeah.
But Saturday, unless what you
And if he wanted to do it earlier, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm down to do it earlier too if it worked for him.
Okay, yeah, 3 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So at this point, it just depends on what time that you have available, Cosmon.
Yep, really. Whatever work, whatever time, Cause what's the other cat he was naming?
Ron?
Karam, yeah. Where is he at?
I think he's in SAC. I think I'm
Oh,
not 100% sure, but I think he's in SAC.
okay.
But yeah, shout out to everybody who been pulling up. Like, you know what I mean? I have to again, last show, we had my mom on here. That's crazy work.
Huh.
And
Shout out to
then this
moms.
time, we had cousin Droop on here. Super salute to him. I've been badgering him to get on this thing for a while now. I'm pretty sure
Right.
they've been badgering him too. So it's just like he pulled up and he came and did his Dougie. And I appreciate that. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like I said, we have these conversations behind the scenes all the time. So I love to see people make the transition from these isolated private conversations to, shedding their light on a wider scale. Like, you know what I mean?
Platform, yeah. Yeah, nah. Shout out to the first timers.
Sure. And
Luke and Francesca.
super shout out to Francesca. Like,
Yeah.
again with her, I talked to her and we just started flowing from it. I don't know how we made the transition from talking about publishing books to, hey, what about that IM shit? Like,
I know.
I don't
That's
I don't know
crazy.
what it sounded like. I don't know what it looked like, but I know what it felt like, right?
Right.
lit. It was hella lit.
Yeah, no, that's what's up. You know that it's them conversations happen so naturally. You know, it's like because the frequency's there, so it's like it's just gonna synchronize itself. Somebody gonna say a certain sentence or a word, and you're gonna be like,
Huh?
why do you use that word? You know what I mean? And as soon as you it's a wrap. It is a wrap after that. You like, oh, okay, you on to something else.
For real. But yeah, peace to the chat.
Yeah.
For sure, peace to everybody on YouTube, peace to everybody on Facebook. If you can, as far as the algorithm on YouTube is concerned, if we could get, like, comment, subscription, like, you know what I mean, share this G thing out.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to grow it. And we again, we have these conversations isolated, so we're more or less just bringing it to the people, like, you know what I mean. And it's just where it's at. And just like, if you want to come on and spill your spill, you could bring it to the people. So it's an open platform, like, you know what I mean, even though it's ours, right?
Yeah. No, real too, man. You didn't said it. That's what we here for, man. Bring it to the platform. We're gonna ask questions, don't be afraid to get, some questions asked for sure. We're gonna ask some questions, we're gonna bring it to the table.
Yeah, you gotta face them questions, man. Hey, shout out to Neff. Hey, Neff was asking some good ass questions tonight too.
For reals.
He was buzzing shit
It
down.
was sparking a good, you know what I'm saying, conversation wrapped around it.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
And questions bring understanding.
Facts.
So, you can't be scared to get, being that hot seat, man.
Yeah.
That hot seat make you grow a little bit.
I was gonna talk shit, but I ain't even gonna say nothing. Yeah, just gonna come on here to the hot seat.
It's fun though when you gotta be a hot nigga to be in the hot seat.
yeah. You know what I mean? This iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So it's all love for sure, though. You know what I mean? No matter what, it's always love. It's always for the purpose of growth and evolution and understanding. So don't think, we ain't never coming from a place of malice or, ill intent or none of that type of stuff. So that's just how we keep it. So
exactly. It's the Free Your Mind podcast, right? You feel me?
But yeah, man. Appreciate everybody for sliding through, chiming in. We might be back Saturday if we can get all this stuff confirmed, and we'll go from there.
Yep. I was trying to remove the books from like this from the main shit, and I think I took them motherfuckers like all the way off of here and shit. Is it on your side somewhere?
It just says scene 2.
We'll get them next time.
You threw them in there, so they in there. Yeah, I ain't seen them.
Hey, on my life, I was gonna say, hey, Selfmade, hey, take this shit down.
I know, huh?
Help!
Count's like, oh, he got it. All right, cool.
I'll remove the whole shit.
That's crazy.
Tap in Saturday. I guess we finna go live again Saturday, man. That's all I got.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace.
Gone free your mind. Gone free your mind, yeah. This is Free Your Mind. This is Free